Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review of these Trideer boxing gloves, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so today I have these Trideer boxing gloves I'm going to do a close-up weigh-in and review on. These are made in China, 16 ounce, the navy blue color scheme, made of synthetic leather. I've got a lot of requests for this entry-level glove from Amazon, just for a lot of people that are getting into boxing and don't want to spend a lot of money on a pair of boxing gloves. So I figured I'd get a pair of them to see for myself how these perform. So the first thing you'll notice is that these gloves actually look more like a Muay Thai style glove. Even though they're advertised as a boxing glove, the actual profile and the style of the wrist closure, this Velcro wrist closure, is a Muay Thai style glove. So, you know, you can still obviously use these for boxing or any kind of striking, but to be more accurate with the description, I would kind of classify these more of a Muay Thai style glove. So you can see here, these are called Trideer. Obviously the logo is of a deer, kind of a unique and weird branding of a boxing product, but I guess it is what it is. So it's called Trideer. So you have this deer logo on the back of the glove, these two chevrons right there. It does say Trideer on the back with the patch on this Velcro strap. It's navy blue color with white piping is the offset color. Again, synthetic leather material, really similar to the synthetic that Sanibel uses, Chairwing, some of the other Chinese brands. It's very slick and shiny. It's almost too slick. It's almost too slippery when you touch it. I wish there was a little bit more of a texture, because when you're hitting the heavy bag with this, it feels like some of my shots graze off the back because of how slippery this material is. But here's a kind of a close-up of the stitching. It has a nylon attached thumb. It does utilize multi-layer foam padding, so I guess that's a plus. Typically gloves at this price point are usually like a molded foam, but they use multi-layer foam padding, which is decent quality. The palm, you can see, is white with blue piping around the thumb, ventilated holes on the palm side. Small grip bar that's really soft, wish that was firmer. It also has a little bit of padding right here on the outside edge of the palm. I'm not sure why they didn't go a little bit thicker there. That padding piece is pretty thin, so it's almost pointless that they added this little extra strip right here, because it should be a little bit thicker, especially if you're going to use this for parrying or blocking kicks or elbows or punches. I would want that to be a little thicker, especially if you're going to put the time into actually stitching another piece on there. And then you have the 3.5-inch Velcro strap with the rolled cuff that you find in a lot of Thai style gloves. The inside uses a standard satin liner, and then the back of the wrist on the inside is the same synthetic leather material. Gloves are manufactured in China. I got mine in 16 ounces. Comes with white Velcro, so navy blue and white. And I guess show you guys the actual density of the foam padding. These gloves are definitely on the denser side. They're not soft, they're not puncher's gloves. They're definitely more on the protective end of the spectrum. So let's go ahead and put these on the scale, see how much these guys weigh. You can see them next to each other. Hopefully they're close to 16 ounces as advertised. And the right glove is at 15.3, so a little over half an ounce underweight. And the left glove is at 15, so they're about an ounce underweight, and almost half an ounce as far as weight to each other, a little bit off, but not too bad. A little bit lighter than their advertised weight, but nothing too crazy. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of these Trideer boxing gloves. I got mine in 16 ounces. You can get anywhere between 8 to 16 ounces, and I got mine in the navy blue color scheme with the contrasting white. It has 5 different colors you can choose from, including this one. There's a black with white, and all black, a red, and I believe kind of like an aqua blue to choose from. So I decided to try these gloves out because I've gotten a lot of requests for some more budget-minded gloves. You can get these from Amazon. It's a Chinese brand, Trideer. So I got a lot of requests for these particular gloves just because they're an entry-level glove, and a lot of people that are starting off in boxing or kickboxing or Muay Thai, any kind of combat sport that requires striking, obviously, want to try these gloves out because maybe it fits their budget and they just want to use a pair of gloves and don't want to break the bank for a pair of boxing gloves. So here we are doing the review on these. I've used these just on the heavy bag, some double end bag work, and on my Cobra bag. So I kind of have a good idea of how these gloves perform and obviously the quality of these gloves. So this glove is an Amazon exclusive. Trideer is a brand that is based out of China. It's a Chinese brand. So they make obviously boxing gloves and other kind of sports type equipment. You can see the actual design of the glove resembles more of a Thai style glove just by the profile being a bit more short and stocky, which was a little misleading because if you go on the actual, when you go on Amazon website, it's actually described as a boxing glove, but it's really more of a Thai style glove because of how short, stocky it is, and it has that rounded cuff. So in terms of wrist support that you typically would see with a boxing glove where there's more of an emphasis on locking your wrist in with boxing, and this doesn't really have that because of that rounded cuff and that shorter profile. So you're not getting the cuff dropping down further on your forearm like you typically would with the traditional boxing glove. But anyhow, it has more of a short compact profile. I would say that this is comparable size-wise to like the Fairtex classic Thai gloves in terms of the actual width and the actual length of the glove. Now obviously the quality and the padding is different, but just if you want to compare it from a shape and size standpoint, that's probably what I would compare it to. So the first thing you'll see here obviously is this navy blue color. It uses a synthetic leather material. The gloves are manufactured in China. Got mine in 16 ounce. It's called Trideer, which is the brand. So it's kind of a weird and unique branding. It has a deer logo on the back of the glove, which I thought was kind of weird for a boxing glove, but whatever, it is what it is. And then you have these two chevrons. It does have the Trideer that's printed on the back of the Velcro strap with the 16 ounce weight tag right here. It does have the offset contrasting white piping around the Velcro strap, as well as white Velcro. That's something you don't typically see. You usually see gloves, I would say the vast majority, if not all gloves, come with black colored Velcro, but this one utilizes white to kind of go with the white and blue color scheme. So I thought that was kind of unique and kind of cool looking, although it'll probably get dirty faster. And so you can see that strap right there. It's pretty standard. And the palm is white with ventilated holes on the palm. You have a kind of a smaller grip bar that's pretty soft. Wish that was a little bit firmer. You have a nylon attached thumb right there. And the inside has the polyester nylon liner, and then the same faux leather material on the back of the wrist, which is really similar again to a lot of Thai style gloves. You notice that it does have this little extra piece right here that's meant to help pad some shots. So if you're doing this for kickboxing, obviously you're dealing with elbows and knees and you're working on parrying. So I thought this could be a little bit more padded, at least thicker, especially if you're going to put something there. You might as well invest a little bit more and put a little bit thicker padding, because yes, that's better than nothing. I mean, you can see just how thin the material is, but adding that on really doesn't do anything. Especially if you're blocking a kick or a knee, that's really not going to do anything. So you can see how rounded the cuff is, again, resembling a Thai style glove with that. So the actual quality of the glove isn't too bad. I mean, all things considered. There was a couple of areas where I saw some of the stitching starting to fray a little bit after I've been using it, if I could find it. But you can see here, I mean, I'll show you the attached thumb. The area where the thumb meets the index finger looks pretty good. The stitching doesn't look too bad. Oh, there you go, I found it. Right here, you can see some of the stitching kind of pulling out on that little turn right there, and that crevice, if you want to call it. But stitching on thumb looks pretty good. Other than that, obviously the nylon attached thumb, I'm not a huge fan of that. It uses obviously the synthetic leather material. Well, the actual thickness of it's pretty good. It's very similar to the Chairwing entry-level gloves in Sanibel. I just don't like how slick it feels. It's almost like it's too slick. You can see how shiny it is, and it doesn't have that much texture. So when you're using this on the heavy bag, I felt like some of my hooks and uppercuts would kind of slip off the bag because of how slippery this material is. So obviously that's kind of a concern. But other than that, I mean, it has multi-layer foam padding, which is an added bonus. I like that much more than molded foam, with a pretty firm density, so they're definitely more on the protective end. But you can also feel a little bit of lumps on the inside right here. It's almost like over time from hitting the bag, it's kind of created some inconsistencies in the foam. So I know there's different levels of quality when it comes to like closed cell and open cell foam, and I feel like this one's probably obviously on the cheaper end because you can actually feel some of the lumps on the inside when you're running your hand over it. But you can see the actual material. They did a pretty good job of keeping everything bonded nicely to the faux leather material. The stitching on the grip bar looks good, double stitching right there. Obviously this little U they make looks really good. I mean, I can't complain about that. That looks really clean. The wrist strap is good. See that the piping looks good on this Velcro strap. Nice and symmetrical, no excess material there. Show you on the palm side. Again, looks really clean and good. Even on the inside of the glove looks really good. Now the wrist support itself, I'd say is about a 1/2 inch all the way around this cuff right here. There's nothing really on the inside right here, so all of the support is going to be really on the back. Basically 3/4 of your wrist is going to be locked in, and then this front side right here, you're not going to have a lot of padding, which also helps out with clinching. So if you are doing Thai style kickboxing and you need to really wrap your hand around your opponent's neck or get into a clinch, then you can do so because there's some flexibility to that. So, but the majority of the padding right here is just basically you're going to have this that U shape because it's rounded off. Now the comfort of the gloves, when I slide my hand in here and lock everything in, you can see that the glove is definitely shorter. Again, like a Thai style glove. One thing I noticed is the thumb is really comfortable. So you can see that there's a good amount of padding on here to protect the back of your thumb, and I have a good amount of depth. My thumb doesn't jam to the tip, and it's nice and parallel, so it's comfortable. This piece right here doesn't, really restrict my thumb. I don't have any pressure, even when I had hand wraps on. One thing I really didn't like was you can see how this kind of rolls over this material right here. So again, if they added a little bit more padding to kind of push that out, you wouldn't have that rolling over that material right there. That's kind of bunching up. Grip bar has good placement. I wish it was a little bit thicker. I feel like it just kind of collapses when you make a fist. And the depth of the finger compartment could have been a little bit deeper. It's a little on the shallow side. But I do like that they put a piece of foam right at the fingertips, so when you press down on it, you can really get a good grip of that. But I just wish it was a little bit deeper, maybe about like another 1/2 inch, and I could really dig my fingers in there and make a good fist. But thumb feels really good, hand positioning is good. The glove itself isn't too tight or too loose. So in terms of a 16-ounce gloves, for me having medium-sized hands, my hand dimensions are in the description box. I feel like it fits really well with my hand wraps on. And you can see that after I've been using it, it has a relatively broken in feel, so it's not an overly stiff glove, which is nice as well. And you can open and close your hand relatively easy. The wrist support is decent. Obviously, this is going to be more for Thai style kickboxing. For boxing, it's okay. But you can see that you can definitely rotate your hand inside. So be very mindful of that if you have some kind of wrist injury. If you're looking at this glove, probably not going to get the best wrist support if you're looking for that. Now, the other big thing about this on the inside is the liner moves around a lot. And by that I mean it feels like the liner just kind of like, feels like your hand is kind of swimming with that liner on the inside. It doesn't feel like the liner is attached to the actual foam on the inside. And because of that, the liner moves too much. So when you're landing some shots, I feel like my hand kind of moves around in the pocket, the hand pocket in here, which is kind of a big flaw to me. That the liner, one, is super smooth, but two, you can feel how it moves. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's actually the liner shifting. So that's another big thing in terms of the interior of the glove is how much that liner moves. So that's a big no-no as well. Now, protection and performance, these gloves will make a good pop. The actual foam, the multi-layer foam, is definitely on the stiffer side. It has a pretty nice flat punching surface right there, and you definitely feel when you land a shot. So for as dense as this layered foam is, it actually has a pretty good amount of crack when you land a shot on the heavy bag or if you're doing mitts with these, which is really nice. The feedback is decent. I mean, you could feel some of the shock come through, but I would say these are a little bit more on the shock absorbance side as far as being able to really absorb the shock. So the feedback isn't the best, but you can see you get a decent amount of pop out of them. And you can see that the actual surface of the glove is nice and wide and pretty flat. The only thing is if you land a grazing shot, again, with how slick this surface is, it might just kind of like slide off whatever you're hitting. So just be mindful of that. It's almost like I want to get some baby powder or chalk and just throw it on the surface of the glove. That way it gives it a little bit of grip. But outside of that, they perform pretty well. Cost-wise, these gloves were $29, so 30 bucks. For the larger size, I believe the 8 and the 10 ounces are $18. You know, if you're a Prime member, you can get them for free shipping. So assuming you're getting this at like the $30 price point, I don't know if I would get these, especially if I could spend like $10 to $20 more and get myself in the $50 range, which really opens things up. But I would definitely get the chair wing gloves over these, which I believe the chair wings are around $30 as well. The Venom Impacts, which are like 55, 60. There's a couple other entry-level Venom gloves I would definitely choose over these. Even though these are at 30 bucks, I just think that the chair wings are better. I mean, heck, you can even go up a little bit and get the superior gloves, which are much more superior, no pun intended, glove than these, and cost just a little bit more. So you're almost in a better situation if you spend just a little bit more and get a better glove than these. They're decent, but you could definitely do better at the price point. Even at $30, there's definitely better alternatives in my opinion. So if you guys have any questions or comments, as usual, leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Trideer gloves. See you guys next time. Peace.